Hello everyone and welcome back to some Rose Hill Rumble. Here we are on round 2, front 9, starting off on the Alumni course. We've got hole 10. This is about 456 feet. We have this huge open fairway here, and then the basket is much protected. That's pretty much right where you want to land, right there where Taylor landed. The basket's about 50 or 60 or so feet more to the left. So really you just want to you really want the distance. Number one, you want that 400 feet of distance. It is slightly downhill, so don't need to get quite 450, but 400 at least. And then you want it to finish as left as you can. Hunter going boom tout on this Halo Emperor. And pushes that one a little too far, actually, and ends up in that tree there and doesn't get enough left skip. Here we have Trey going for that inside route. Unfortunately, way too inside. About 50 feet in front of where he landed right here, there is another opening that gets to the basket. So I think that's the one he was aiming for and just didn't get it wide enough. And you can kind of see it right there, middle frame. And this little forehand scramble shot, that should leave him about edge of circle. Tyler just pitching up. Easy tap in par. Taylor definitely giving that one a run. He'll also have a par. And Hunter has way too much muscle and blasted it about 15 feet past the opening that you would like to get to. And a valiant effort there, almost throwing it in. He'll have a pretty good look at the par as well. Trey from just outside the circle. Wow, and just a little undercommitted on that one. Not a friendly roll either. Tyler making good on that par putt. Sort of in that tester range, especially after a nice big lunch. Kind of get you awake there in the late afternoon that we're in. So this whole one really sets the bar for how you want to play this course. It is long, bombing par threes. That is the mainstay here. Hunter making good on that par as well. I think it was technically Trey's turn, but pace of play and all that. Trey making good on that bogey. Definitely sucks to lose a stroke here so early. Taylor keeping that nice lead. Here we are on hole 2, par 3, 431 feet. Nice downhill forehand shot here. This is a left to right moving shot. I'm right in the spot to kind of get both the tee and the basket because there's a lot of blind shots here. Taylor ended up a little early in the trees. Tyler airing this one out nice and wide. He'll end up short of the basket, but right there in the middle of the fairway. Hunter looks like he's got that Halo Emperor in his hand again. Putting some nice flex on this one. And pushing a bit past the basket, he will have a deep circle 2 putt. And Trey with his trademark forehand. Trademark, you get it? Oh, nasty roll. Ends up from edge of circle 1 to middle circle 2. Taylor just taking a nice overstable approach shot and putting it right under the basket. Tyler airing this one out a little wide. Hits the pin though, so definitely had the line. Just not the height for that shot. But if you missed it with the height, would have skipped pretty far past. Hunter from deep circle 2, maybe edge of circle 3. Definitely giving that one the beans, as they say. Trey just a little low on that birdie putt. An unfortunate repeat from hole 1. He will fortunately not get the bogey, but a par. And the rest of our card will clean up the par as well. So 2 really nice holes to start you off with. Here on hole 3, par 3, 360 feet. This one is just right behind that tree, probably about 100 or so feet past it, I would say. So kind of just pick your line. This right side definitely more favorable, much more open than the left side, but there is a line there for sure. Taylor airing that one out nice and wide. He should have, I think, an edge of circle 1 look. Tyler putting this one even more wide, playing for that skip. And kind of just going right into the hill there. So slight uphill, so probably plays closer to about 380 or so, I would say. Really nice tee pads on this course, by the way. I highly recommend, if you have the chance to come out and play. This is a beautiful course, and it is so much fun. It is definitely not amateur friendly for, somebody like me, very weak, slow arm speed. But it's beautiful, and it's fun, and it's extremely well maintained. I mean, look at this grass. Hunter catching some early shrubbery there, but I think that's just a little tiny twig, so looks like he filtered right up to the basket. Should be a great spot. Trey kind of contesting with that tree. Thankfully, he filtered all the way through, and so he'll have a slightly longer look than where Hunter landed. Tyler taking what looks like a pig or maybe a toro, just pitching it up. Easy par. This is definitely a course where, if you're out of position, you want to be playing for that par. Taylor playing for the birdie, giving it a great bid. Just a little bit long. Or a little bit left, excuse me. Trey, great height on that, just missed it a little bit wide. Fighting hard for those birdies. Tyler making a good par putt there. Hunter with his just inside the circle look at the 2. This course is not friendly when it comes to birdies. Nice dead center putt there. Very well committed and a very well-earned birdie. The rest of our card looking to tap in their 3s. Here on hole 4, par 4, 770 feet. The initial shot is really about placement. About, I'm going to say 380 or so feet down the fairway from here. There's a little opening on either side guarded by clusters of trees. So you really want to be at that opening. Let's see how Hunter does this. Nice flip up play. Flipping too much. It is downhill, so he'll end up in that rightmost cluster of trees. Very difficult to get the 3 from there. Taylor airing this one much wider, giving it some nice height to fight back left. Unfortunately, he airs it too wide, and he also ends up on the backside of that cluster. Let's see if Tyler can make the correction. Getting a nasty wind bounce right there, kicking him straight down. He'll be in a good position, though, to get up and down. Trey kind of going way too straight. The wind definitely played a huge factor on this course. It is much more open, not a lot of woods to protect the shots from the wind. And this looks like a fantastic shot here. Just past that tree, probably about 200 or so feet past where we can see is the basket up to the left on top of a hill. So you want to push it straight and then left, and then... So Tyler in a good position, should have a circle 2 look. Taylor, unfortunately, no looks, has to end up pitching out. Hunter right at the edge, in enough of a position to kind of have a go at it. As you can see, he is basically splayed out. And this was a great shot. Unfortunately, not carrying enough for what he really wanted to do. But from that position. Taylor giving this one a lot of height. Definitely going to fight back left. Unfortunately, we can't really see where that landed. But I think, if I recall, it was in a good position for the par. Here we get to Hunter from his scramble. As you can see, not in a great position. Kind of these big limbs right in the middle of where he would like to be throwing. So I would personally have opted for the backhand hyzer because it's a much safer play. But he is a couple strokes behind, so he's got to fight for those birdies. And put himself in a great spot to save the par. Excuse me. Tyler kind of letting this one slip right out of his hand. Not quite what he wanted, but he should be in a good position for the birdie. Or birdie, not birdie, par, excuse me. Trey giving that one a nice run. Unfortunately, coming up a little bit short and a little bit to the right. Tyler coming up short on that par attempt. Or Taylor, excuse me. Taylor coming up short. Tyler making good on that par. Par is definitely not anything to waggle your finger at. You see how easy it is to get these bogeys. Taylor dropping a stroke to the field. We got a tie ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Hole 5, par 3, 165 feet. This is an island hole, surrounded on all sides and in front of and behind by an OB road. Hunter, unfortunately, getting way too much flex on this. He will never have crossed inbounds. Or he may have crossed inbounds, but I think all OB goes to the drop zone, which is about an 80 or so foot putt. Tyler up next. Putting a lot of hyzer on that one. That one coming up a bit short, but safe. Inbounds, right behind that big tree. This is such a pretty hole. I mean, this is iconic right here. Trey getting a nice reaction off of the tree. Not kicking backwards, but kicking over. And he should have a pretty easy birdie. Taylor giving this one nice width. He should also have a great look at the birdie. I said 80 feet. This is maybe closer to 70. I'm not sure. A valiant effort from Hunter, but that's just a little too far. Definitely not a gimme at all from that distance. Tyler airing this one over. An unfortunate miss on what is a must get, excuse me. Taylor making good on that birdie. Getting one back on the field. Except Trey. Trey fighting back to 6 under. Tyler making good on that par save. And Hunter is just right under the basket for the unfortunate bogey. Here we arrive at hole 6, par 3, 348 feet. This is a nice straight shot here. Trey really showing us how it's supposed to be done. Putting himself right about 20 feet from the pin. You've got this single gap you really want to hit, just straight in front of you. So whatever you can do to get straight through there is what you want. Taylor also putting a beautiful shot here. Probably throwing a mid-range there, something like an MD3 maybe. I don't know their bags super well. Tyler airing this one to the right. Unfortunately catching some of those trees. Thankfully it is pretty open in there, so it's kind of just a wall of trees, but not like a cluster, so to speak. Definitely would prefer to miss on the right side rather than the left. The left is much thicker. Not really sure where this one went. I think he ended up on the left side. Here we see where Tyler landed. As you can see, not a wall, not like a cluster of trees that you got to fight through, but just a wall to kind of stop bad shots, and then you can have at least a look. Putting a lot of oomph on that one. Should end up about pin high. Yep, ended up just to the left, kind of early out of his hand. Probably only about 150 or so feet to the pin from here. It's just around that tree that you can kind of see middle frame. Yeah, and that should be a great shot right there. Taylor coming up a bit short and right. And short and right on the putt as well. Trey from just inside the circle for the two. Making good on that one. Nice dead center. Slightly to the right. Perfect shot. Fighting back to that coveted 7 down. Tyler from probably 25 feet. Oh, coming up a little bit short on that. Very unfortunate miss from inside the circle. Hunter from just a couple feet closer. Ooh, a little left side, but still goes in. Scorecard doesn't care. I was going to say scorecard doesn't matter, but absolutely it matters. Tyler's tapping in that bogey. Taylor tapping in the par. Hole 7, par 3, 397 feet. This definitely plays more like 500 feet, though, at least in my head. You have this OB water all on the left side. We have an absolute death hill on the right-hand side, which unfortunately Trey will find, leaking this one way to the right. Thankfully not getting a kick into the woods, but this is a brutal hole. Absolutely brutal. Taylor opting for the safer forehand line, unfortunately airing way too much and ending up on top of the hill as well. Not as far down as Trey, thankfully, so he'll have an easier look to get up and down. Looks like Hunter is considering the Halo Emperor again. Looks like he opts for something else. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is extremely windy coming off of this water. Hunter very upset, getting way too much turn on that one, ending up over on that right-hand side as well. As you can see, super windy. Tyler making a great correction, nice and low, nice and flat, just ending up on top of that hill. Absolutely ideal. Such a difficult hole to attack in this wind. Trey kind of leaving this one two-turned as well. Throwing uphill takes a lot of the distance out, so you can't really blame him for that. He'll probably have a circle 2 look to save the par. Maybe a bit closer than that, but we'll see. Hunter putting himself right under the basket. Great shot. So hard to control that distance. Tyler, unfortunately, in the best spot and keeping on that hill. Thankfully not rolling all the way down, but that is a nasty OB right behind the basket death putt. Taylor trying to ring up the 2. This looks like a fantastic shot. Should be probably about 10 feet. Trey gonna have to settle for the bogey on that one. Definitely not losing a stroke on too many people. Tyler making the same mistake, airing it too much. It's so windy, you can see the disc basically stall and just hover as soon as the flight plate is revealed to that wind. And that wind playing havoc on Tyler's mind as he airs that one way too high and left. Trey, same mistake. Wind definitely getting in their heads on this one. Hunter just baffled at this wind. This is crazy. If you've ever played the Vicksburg course, I think it's Hall's Ferry is the name of it. It is this windy all the time on the front 9. It's ridiculous. Ooh, a little scary putt right there for Hunter, but easy 3 for him. Taylor taking the bogey, Tyler taking the double bogey, and Trey, I believe, as well with the double bogey. Here we are on hole 8, par 3, 386 feet. It definitely plays like that, maybe a little bit shorter, because it is slightly downhill from where you tee off versus where you land. Once again, OB water here to the left-hand side, so definitely want to air it out to the right. Hunter has that Halo Emperor in his hand again. I want to say it's a Halo Emperor. I've seen him mash this one when we play doubles, so I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Nice hyzer flip here. Carrying straight to the basket. And ending up in a phenomenal spot. I'm pretty sure that's like 5 feet. Wind absolutely blasting us on this hole as well. Taylor nice and low, nice and flat. Trying to play against that wind. And that should be probably 10 feet. Trey opting for a nice hyzer flip as well. And the wind kind of killing the momentum on that one, just knocking it straight down. That'll be about 20 or so feet. Tyler, this looked like a Halo Wraith, but he swung this one way too wide, and the wind not helping him at all, just kind of pushing him straight down. Opting for a nice low upshot here. Nice tap in. Taylor ended up way shorter than I thought he did. And Trey from just a couple feet further than where Taylor was. And you can see that the wind just kind of killing that putt right as it comes out of his hand. And Hunter, not even 5 feet. This was a phenomenal shot. Definitely making a lot of strokes on folks here. Rest of our card tapping in their par and walking away. Not too upset about it, I suspect. But probably at least a little bit upset. And the final hole for the front nine, hole 9, par 3, 393 feet. Once again, another smash. Hunter deciding between the flippy one or the Halo Emperor. Opted for the Halo Emperor. Throws it all hyzer. Absolutely mashing on this one. The wind not playing to his strength, unfortunately, and throwing that one too wide. I think if he threw that a little bit lower on that same line and maybe a little further to the left, would have ended up in a great shot, or great spot, excuse me. I think this OB water here kind of gets into their head, though. They don't want to end up short, because then you'll basically have to almost re-tee. Trey not super worried about it, but unfortunately leaking this one way too far to the right. Now you can kind of see center frame is where he ended up. Not quite wide enough on the, or not quite wide enough left to really get to the pin. Tyler trusting this one over the water. Way too much turn, I think, for what he wanted. He ends up right next to where Trey ended up. Taylor almost ringing up the birdie on this one. Tyler with the almost exactly the same shot, just spiking into the ground and getting a weird reaction. This one looks like it just slipped out of Trey's hand. That's not a great spot to be in here in this wind. Hunter has such a great putt from distance. He's just got so much power on that, so much spin. Oh, and the wind getting into Trey's head, and unfortunately coming up a bit short on that par bid. Tailwind putt for Tyler. You see it drop almost immediately out of his hand. Great par from that distance, absolutely. Taylor tapping in that par to keep pace of play up. Hunter, nice dead center putt there. And Trey, unfortunately, finishing the front nine with a bogey. That will conclude the front nine of the round 2 coverage. I hope to catch you all on the back nine on this beautiful, beautiful alumni course here at Camp Bretton Green. I'll catch you all next time.